You want to go ahead, Justin, with the precast bridge?
Yes, sir. DPW is seeking permission to award the precast bridge deck and abutment systems. They were put out to bid. We've highlighted the low bidders, and we are happy with the numbers.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by legislator Healy, second by legislator Curran. Any discussion? Mr. Barnes?
Yeah, was there more than one bidder, or is it just, you only show LC Whitford, and then the other is, it says NB, no, I assume no bid?
No bid. Yeah, no, those were the only bidders.
So there's only two bidders on the project.
Correct.
What is the reason for such a low turnout? They're all busy?
I couldn't. We sent it out to the typical contractors we work with, and that's who we got back. I can't speak for why they didn't submit a bid.
Well, hang on a second.
Clippers is the largest pre-stress concrete beam bridge builder, and they're right here in
Could you
logistics and all that.
try again, Carl? See if you can fire your mic up again. There you go.
Da-da-da.
State that again, please.
Whitford's, one of the reasons for I think that there were not so many bidders is that the largest pre-stress concrete bridge beam builder, I don't know why I can't say that. I said it for years. You got me. I have to do that. Anyway, I think it's logistics. They're handy. They're nearby. This is not an item that you can put in your hip pocket and truck down the road. And we're privileged to have them here with us in our county.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Harris, do you have something? Oh, okay. All right, any more discussion? We had the motion. Could we get a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. Permission.
Yes, I just wanted to take a moment and go over DPW's 2021 tentative bridge and highway work this committee meeting. We did produce a map showing a lot of the road work and also the bridge structures that we'll be working on either through federal aid programs or through our local bridge construction crew are shown. Some of the highlights of what we intend to do this year: about 20 miles of paving overlay, 12 miles of cold in place recycle. I'm sorry, that was last year what we completed. This year we look at 26 miles of paving, 10 miles of cold in place recycling, 16 miles of chip seal, and we're hoping to do around 50 miles of crack seal. As for the bridge work, we have a pretty busy season. For the federal aid projects, we currently have 6 projects going. The Weedrick Bridge, which we just did a vote on for the supplemental agreement, will be going into the construction this year. LC Whitford was the low bidder for the contract there. Wellsville, Madison Street Bridge, we're still in final design. We had a little bit of a slowdown due to coordinating with right-of-way agreements and the railroad. Depending on when we're able to finish the final design, we'll determine on if that's going to go into construction this summer or next. Pine Street Alfred is still going forward. We are hoping to have that out, and they will be able to do utility work and coordination this year, with the final construction being completed in 2022. County Route 16 in Birdsville, we had the incident with the beam last construction season. We're hoping to have that shored up and finished this spring. County Route 20 has been awarded to twin-tier contract constructors, and that will be going this year and completed this summer. North Main Street, Andover, we were awarded the funding for last year. That is moving forward. We've hired the consultant, and we are still planning on having that completed in year 2023. Also, what's not shown on here is the state of New York did start another round of Bridge New York funding. We have hired some consultants to help us put in the application packages. We're going to submit for 2 bridges there. So hopefully we are awarded one of those projects, if not both. And you'll also see down below the 4 bridges. That's the work our bridge construction crew will be completing this year, and is what the board funded through last year's budget process for this year's work. Any questions on the highway or bridge work?
Yeah, just on that Wellsville Madison Street Bridge, if you do start that late, is there any loss of any funds, any funding?
No, we've talked with the DOT and the consultant. There's no impact to us doing it next year versus this year. The bridge is currently open. It shouldn't hinder anyone nor the funding.
Okay, good. Any other questions for Mr. Harris?
Not for my benefit, because I know a lot about roads and bridges, but for the viewing public, can you describe the differences between those 4 types of paving?
Yeah. So paving, typically what we do is an overlay. It ends up being an 1.5 inch overlay, which is just put more blacktop on the old. It's done in 2 passes, 3/4 inch each. Chip seal is one of the cheaper treatments, and all that is you lay out stone, you spray oil over it and roll it down. I'm sure everyone's driven through those construction projects. Hopefully we didn't have to pay anyone. Crack seal, this is something we just started with in the last 2 years. You're starting to see it on county roads. You would see it on state DOT roads, but that is just all the black lines there. And the purpose of that is to keep water from infiltrating the road and the freeze-thaw cycle not hindering or cracking up the road anymore. Cold in place recycling is something that the county started last year. We did it on County Route 30 and 40. What this process is the sub base. The roads are pretty well gone to where if we went to put an 1.5 inch overlay, the cracks, the divots, everything was wrong is going to come back through probably within a year or 2. So what we do is go through with a milling machine that grinds up 4 inches of the road. We introduce new stone to give it the structure that it needs and inject oil into it and then roll it down. So you're pretty much creating a new base for the road structure. And then once you do that, it's a matter of if you're going to do a small overlay or you can do an oil and stone. But the next process is after cold in place recycling, you need to do something to seal the top before the next winter comes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Dibble?
Thank you. Just a comment on Weidrich Bridge Road. There's a very active trail. This Weidrich Bridge goes east and west, north and south. There's 11-mile trail, very active, and it's right beside the bridge, just for your information.
Anyone else? Anything else to add, Justin, for highway?
No, I just want to stress this is tentative. It's dependent on commodity prices and funding from the state.
Okay, thank you. I guess next up would be solid waste.
We included this in the agenda, and our intent was more just to get it in the minutes. We've released it to the press. It's actually been working quite well, doing online tag sales and through the mail. This was more just to inform the committee that DPW has gone to strictly online and no walk-ins due to COVID.
Yeah, is that just for the pandemic, or is that going to be the case in the future?
It was initiated because of the pandemic, but seeing how it's going, I think there might be a case to move that way towards the future too.
at least leave it as an option.
Right. It takes a lot of man hours for walk-ins.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Harris.
Thank you. Do you know which municipalities sell dump permits out of their town offices? And if you do, can you tell us what they are?
I do, and I can tell you, we put a link on the website, but I cannot tell you off the top of my head who they are. The town of Alfred is one. Yes.
Alfred is one, and I believe Wellsville is one as well, but I'm not sure
Correct.
what.
We did publish
Almond.
the list on the quick links on the main webpage for the county.
Okay, thanks.
So
And Justin, if,
people-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, ask, does that mean that people can go to those two sites in person and get a
Those are usually for the bag disposal tickets, not necessarily the tag. I believe Wellsville is the only one that sells the tag. So those are just for disposal tickets.
so you can't get a
The
tag
tag is
at any-
online
at
or
any
through
town
mail.
office.
Just Wellsville
Okay, so Wellsville is still,
tags.
But if you were unable to use the internet, we could arrange for an application to be sent to you, or you could pick one up at the transfer station and mail it back,
Yes,
correct?
you can still pick up applications at any of these spots, including the landfill. And if you had a tag before, we do a yearly mail out, and the application sent along with it.
Have you run into any problems, any people complaining because they can't, or?
No more complaints than normal, I guess would be my answer. But
in other words, a lot.
nothing that we can't handle. I got one today. Someone's unable to open up the PDF, but with the mail outs and the multiple ways we're getting this information out, it's still been relatively trouble free compared to the walk-ins.
Chairman Ricky, I have that list up of the towns if you'd like that. Town of Alfred, Town of Almond, Town of Angelica, Town of Bolivar, Village of Cancerega, Town of Candiadea, Town of Cuba, Town of Genesee, Town of Hume, Town of Rushford, Town of Wellsville sells both, like Justin said, Town of Willing, and Town of Wirt.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, what else you have for us?
I'm gonna hand it over to Deputy Scholes, and he's gonna go over the local solid waste management plan.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be back, see everyone. I believe everybody has in their packet a couple of pages from Barton and LaJudas where they summarized comments from the public, and we had comments from two folks who we appreciate very much. One of those folks is with us today. Took time to read the draft of the local solid waste management plan and ask questions and make recommendations for improvement. Barton and LaJudas has made some responses and recommendations to those public comments. You have those with you also. DPW is pleased with Barton and LaJudas' response to the recommendations and comments to the public, and we're recommending to the committee that we have Barton and LaJudas incorporate that into the final draft of the local solid waste management plan and send it to the DEC for review.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a second? Moved by legislator Healy, seconded by legislator Dibble. Open for discussion. You looking for approval, or is this just,
Looking for approval to from the committee that we can having Barton and LaJudas incorporate their responses into the local solid waste management plan and officially submit the final draft to the DEC.
okay,
Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
I
Healy?
take it the county attorney's office has reviewed this and is all right with all the changes? Yes. Thank you, Mr. County Attorney.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, hang on, we got another